If there's one thing the coronavirus pandemic has taught investors, it's that the world is much more interconnected than we thought. But as the crisis is global, so are the opportunities, and investors are increasingly eager to look for them in foreign markets. I'm joined today by Gabriela Santos, Global Market Strategist at JP Morgan Asset Management. So looking at a global level, where would you advise investors to start looking for those opportunities?
I think this crisis, in many different ways in the investing world, really helped to emphasize certain themes that were already present before, but that got amplified even more over the past few months. And one of them, to me, is really the emergence and the leadership of Asia. And here I'm thinking of the example of South Korea, of Taiwan, and of later on of China as well. So really countries that are able to reopen, but with a lot of testing in place, with contact tracing technology, as well as with isolation procedures, and all with a mentality of the population of collectivism and a focus on hygiene. So I think if we think about the Asia theme, it's not just a long-term theme, but it's also a region that's reopening, perhaps in a more sustainable way over the next few months.
When you look at the typical client base here in the US, how comfortable do you think people are jumping on those investing themes that are a little more global than they're used to?
Emerging markets, just that name, it sounds scary, and it sounds like it's the old emerging markets where it's all about commodities and there are a lot of issues and crises all the time. And I think it's a matter of understanding that emerging markets is now so different. Just in 10 years, it's about the consumer, it's about Asia, it's about technology. It's a very different theme. And when I think technology in Asia, I think about the tremendous opportunity to embed technology in everything that the Asian population does. The growth rate to embed technology in everything, whether it's e-commerce or healthcare or banking, it's huge in Asia.
Looking into consumer discretionary, it's an interesting thing that starts to emerge, especially as we think of consumption habits across these countries in Asia.
Oh my goodness, yes. And there's such an interesting development happening, especially I look at a lot of estimates from the Brookings Institute that suggest that over the next decade, 1.5 billion people will enter the middle class in Asia. And that's over 1 billion people just in China and India. It's not just the growth rate of the people, but the growth rate of their consumption, which is even bigger than that. And, it's really a big move from spending on just consumer staples to spending on consumer discretionary goods that we've been spending on in developed countries for a long time. And that's where it's really important to pick the most competitive, the industry leader kind of companies, because those are going to be the ones that will survive this tough moment and actually will emerge with an even bigger market share.